So, if there's anything that I have learned from watching, a few romance movies here and there and, horror movies that have couples in it, um, my suggestion is, or not even my suggestion, my thought process of, just, being single, being, the man about town, not having to, care about, anybody else. That seems to be working out well for me because whenever there are couples in horror movies, what happens? There's always some sort of like either big twist or, the couple ends up dead or whatever, or, they get stabbed in the back, so on and so forth. So what I'm doing must be, the correct way to survive a horror movie in that instance. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Daniel Strong from QuickTime Reactions, and welcome back to Noobs for Horror October. If you have not checked out the previous entries in this year's edition, I should say, of Noobs for Horror October, where I talk about Marvel Zombies and Strangers Chapter 2, those videos are already up on the channel, so you guys can go and check those out. But today, there was a mystery movie today, a horror mystery movie, and the mystery movie ended up being Bone Lake. And this one was actually the trailer I had seen, I think, a couple of times, but I didn't really know much other than like what was shown in the trailer. This movie stars Alex Rowe, Marco Pegosi, Maddie Hassan, and Andra Nechita. I'm probably butchering that last name. And it is about two couples who end up staying at the exact same house over the exact same weekend. And, over time, they start to learn about each other, get to know, their interests, all that good stuff. But they also learn stuff about their past and their secrets. And there's also some locked doors in the house. And what could those be? And as the weekend progresses, stuff starts to unravel. Stuff starts to come out. And will these relationships be able to survive past this weekend? Or will they even be able to survive at all? We'll have to find out. Other than that premise, I knew nothing about this movie. It was written by Joshua Friedlander. Again, I hope I'm saying that last name correctly. And I thought he did a really good job in writing this. Sure, there were maybe a couple of clunky moments here and there, but I would say overall it is pretty solid. And the idea that comes around in like the big twist at the end is really, really interesting and really kind of, and this may be considered maybe just a tinge spoilery, shall we say, but from the concept alone, it is very much barbarian coded with, two people, but in this instance, it's two couples staying in the exact same house and they don't know anything about each other. And then slowly but surely, information starts coming out, and then it's like, oh, there's something going on in this house, type deal. And that is like surface level stuff. Once that twist happens towards the tail end of the film, it actually, well, I wouldn't even say it's spoilery, because I think this happens in like the first, maybe 5 minutes. But it's also a little bit kind of like World's Most Dangerous Game, in a sense, and I don't want to go a lot further than that, but I like that kind of meshing of um, those two. I think one modern horror classic in Barbarian, and then a really good kind of thriller story with World's Most Dangerous Game. I consider that a thriller anyway. Um, but meshing those two worlds together, I think, is really, really good. This was directed by Mercedes Bryce Morgan. Um, excuse me. And I thought she did a really good job with the direction of this. Um, obviously, this is takes place inside of this one house for the majority of it. But there are some instances where we like go out to the lake, and we just get like these really cool shots throughout. Like when they enter one of the rooms, there's a really good like spin effect. I don't want to call it an effect, but there's like a really cool spin that they do with the camera in one of the instances. And another one of the instances when they're breaking into the locks, when the guy um, hits the lock with a meat tenderizer, the camera, and I'm going to do this with my phone, so which is what I'm recording on, but like the camera will do whenever it hits, it'll tilt like this, and it's such a really cool effect, and I think that it adds a bit of like stylization to it. Not to mention the fact that there are a lot of really cool lighting effects throughout the whole movie that I think like it obviously adds a lot of like style to the movie to potentially maybe cover up some of the weaker spots of the movie, but I still dug the style of it. I think it looked pretty cool. Um, our four performers in this, I thought they did a pretty good job. Um, Maggie, no, I think it's Maddie, misspoke. Maddie Hassan and Marco Pigoso play Sage and Diego, who are a couple that have been together for a while, but, it's starting to stagnate a little bit. And then you have this other couple who, oh my gosh, I can't. Will and Sin, there we go, which is short for cinnamon. Um, they come in and, they're like, you know, hipping it, not, I don't want to say hipping it and happening, but they're pretty active, I would say. And as soon as, Will and Sin sense a bit of like, between Sage and Diego, they immediately go into like trying to break them up, which is absolutely insane. And that's as far as I'm gonna go with that, because I think that part of it was shown in the trailer for this movie. But like they just immediately go into like trying to break up this relationship, which I find absolutely insane. But it will make sense once the big twist of the movie is revealed. Um, but yeah, man, overall, this was a pretty fun watch, I gotta say. Really good direction. I thought a really solid script. Love the visuals of this movie. There aren't a lot of many. There are a lot of many. There aren't many kills in this movie, but excuse me, but when they do happen, they are pretty good and they're really gory as well. And when I say gory, I mean like there's not going to be like, all sorts of guts hanging out, but there is a fair amount of blood that is shown. So I will give them points for that. But yeah, I had a fun time watching this, and I thought it was a really enjoyable experience. If you guys have the chance to check out Bone Lake, if it's playing in a theater near you, I would definitely give this a shot. And plus, it is just a shade over 90 minutes. So it's not going to be like, a big burden of time that you are wasting on a day. It's like only, like I said, above 90 minutes. So I'd go and check it out. I'm just saying. But there you go. That is my review of Bone Lake without getting into many of the spoilery details of this movie. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought of Bone Lake. And like I said, we are kicking off Noobs for Horror October. Again, go check out my reviews for Marvel Zombies and Strangers Chapter 2. They're already up on the channel. And once October hits, I have a specific video, actually a video that I thought of late in the stages for October 1st. So be sure to look out for that once October starts. But in the meantime, guys, be safe out there. And remember, if you find yourself in an unfamiliar home and you see locked doors, I wouldn't open those because you don't know what you could find on the other side. Like, you could find, a pantry full of donuts, or you could find their knife collection. And so my suggestion is don't take that chance in opening up the doors. Just don't do it. And I will catch you guys next time.